your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all go? Why do we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Billy, Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.
So, hello again and welcome to another episode of Quick Question with Soren and Daniel, the podcast where two best friends and comedy writers ask each other questions and give each other answers. I am one half of that podcast, author of How to Fight Presidents, senior writer for Last Week Tonight, and guy with brand new glasses that no one has commented on, Daniel O'Brien, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Soren Bowie. Soren, say hello.
Hey, everybody, I'm Soren Bowie. I write for American Data. What? Are those new glasses?
Soren.
Those are gorgeous.
Yes, thank you.
Those are wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
I love them.
Thank you to ASPCA Pet Insurance for supporting Quick Question. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/question. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten either by Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. Have you you've had a pretty set in stone look since
Time immemorial. Yeah, I've sort of vacillated between two looks in my life. One was a bowl cut with long baggy pants, and the other one was my current look. And honestly, I'm feeling the revolution come around again. I see the people out. I see people at movie theaters and stuff, and I'm like, that was my look, man. Should I be doing that again?
Have you ever, were there ever like accent pieces that either you wore when you were younger or that you want to do now? Oh,
great question, Dan. Yes, there.
Thanks, buddy.
I had this little like latch thing that would, not really a carabiner, but sort of like a carabiner that held my keys to one of the bands on my jeans.
Okay.
Wasn't like a pocket chain, but it was still a very rattly silver thing. And I hate having keys in my pocket. And I long for the days where that's cool again. Where I can just wear something that looks like my jeans got their ear pierced. Right. You know, like it's just like dangles off. I want that again. What about you?
I was talking about this with my sister-in-law the other night because it was my niece's Sweet 16. And I asked my sister-in-law what her Sweet 16 was like. And in lieu of a party, she got a massive plate necklace with her name on it, which struck a chord for me and remembered the people in high school in New Jersey, the girls who did have like Marcella, like a giant, large license plate of your name as a necklace. And it pulled up a memory for me of not just those girls, but also the period of my high school time where we all wore like gold crucifix necklaces. I don't feel like I came from a like
Jesus, you're so Jersey.
A loudly religious high school or anything like that. Like we're all
just
sort of
grew up in the weirdest state of all.
No, yeah, we're all Catholic in the way that like we're Catholic in the way that we're all powerless, that we're just shuffled around in minivans by our parents. Yeah. None of us was like, you know what I love about being Catholic? It's the ritual. None of us had any strong attachments to it. But we all still were like the idea of wearing a gold crucifix to school every day.
Yo, anyone want to go to Mac and Mako's and talk about the crucifixion?
You see that fucking sermon on Sunday? That was tight. When he says I was walking down the street and I met a woman who asked me a question, why does God let bad things happen to good people?
Hey,
Do you think that was real? Do you think that actually happened, that he was walking in the street and that? Because it worked for the sermon, but it just felt a little too convenient for his purposes. Why does
God let bad things happen? Good Lord, why do I love this man? Hold on. The things you're describing sound like they're from a movie to me. That everyone wore gold crosses and then the women all wore essentially like Roman spear plates to keep themselves from getting stabbed in the neck with their names on them.
You should also know that the crucifixes for a lot of us were eventually replaced with puka shell necklaces, which is what I thought I was going to have you on. I thought...
Yeah. I'm back.
In my memory, there's a picture of you wearing a puka shell necklace, a picture I might not have ever seen. I just have it, though.
I've never had a puka shell necklace, but I was a necklace boy. I was a necklace boy who had... There was always like beads and silver on it.
Okay.
It's really complicated actually to explain, but like it was after Fimo. Did you have a Fimo phase as well, where you did like hemp and Fimo?
No. What is Fimo?
Fimo is a type of clay.
Fear that everyone's missing out?
Fimo is a type of clay.
I'm the only one having fun?
Then clipped, and it has like little shapes and designs within it, and it makes these little beads, like intricate looking beads. And then they were always placed within hemp. Like you'd get like a hemp bracelet and there'd be 3 of these beads across it. Or there'd be like a Fimo mushroom necklace, like that kind of stuff. It was just very fancy looking clay. And that was like a big deal when I was real young, like just out of elementary school into middle school. And then after that, I remained a necklace boy and would wear, I guess, skater or surfer type of necklaces that were not puka shell. Okay.
Were they loose fitting or like tight around the neck?
They were not choke chains by any means.
Okay.
But they were not, I don't think they were like your crucifix ones were like, I imagine those like a deep V to them.
Yeah.
These were like, it was punk. That's what it was. It was like silver beads. Imagine that.
Okay. I can imagine that.
Okay. And they just hung past you. Like if you were wearing a crew cut shirt, it would hang just past that little suture, like the sewing where yeah.
And you haven't, as you've gotten older, because I think you'll even say this about yourself, but you're a mostly J. Crew, Banana Republic kind of, I don't know, all American preppy?
Yeah, basic boy. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a lot of room to if you ever wanted to like zhuzh it up. You don't have any piercings. I don't notice that you wear necklaces today, but are you ever thinking about like, man, I wish I had just a shelf on the side of my face that I could occasionally display tchotchkes or something?
There's something, and I don't know what it is about bracelets, but I am really into bracelets in a way where I can't ever like indulge it. But the minute I see bracelets on somebody, I'm like, that person is cool. Yeah. And especially if they've got like a bunch of them and they're all different textiles. Like one of them's like wool or like braided, and then like another one is leather, like a leather cuff. Someone wears a leather cuff. I'm like, this person's lived it. Well, this is a whole different life, and I am curious.
Did you ever have, were wrist or elbow sweatbands ever a part of your fashion life growing up?
Oh, no.
We had those. That might have been born out of my high school and college alternative piano rock band. Do we have a clip?
No clip.
We're gonna have a clip there. We're gonna have a clip playing right now. But we had
footnotes of the show.
My brother Tommy had wrist sweatbands that were it's debatable if it was like actually for the function of keeping sweat away from your fingers while you're playing piano, or it looks cool and it's a thing to do, or both. And then I just started doing that too. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a little like a sweatband on either my wrist or my elbow that was gonna just be something to like zhuzh up my form as I'm on stage as an 18-year-old, because no piercings, no tattoos. I'm otherwise just a tube out there. I'm a Lego person. And I was like, I could put a hat on this, but otherwise, I don't know. There's not much else.
Wait, are you describing, it's like, it's thick and it only is about 2 inches long and sits on your wrist? Or are you talking about like one of those armbands that Carmelo Anthony used to wear, which is like
it's just
all the way to
wrist.
elbow?
I would do wrist, or I would sometimes do a wider one that would fit around my elbow that couldn't possibly serve any function. Like, at least when it was on the wrist, I could say it's keeping the sweat out of my fingers when I'm playing bass. But when it's on my left elbow, I'm just like, yes, this is here to contract my movement a bit.
I don't know. They're cool. I'm with you.
It's pure vanity.
Those are cool. They wear them in Giving Up the Gun music video for Vampire Weekend, which is at this point 20 years old, I want to say.
Yeah.
But when I remember watching that music video when I was young and being like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool that they're like playing bass with those on.
Yeah, that's good because my band days are also 20 years old at this point. Yeah. Good Lord.
I would also wear everywhere I went I would say from sophomore year of high school through junior year of college. I had a backwards cap, a backwards Burton cap. It's like kind of maroonish red, and I wore it everywhere.
I wore a backwards red fitted baseball cap constantly, not because of Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst, but I don't know. We're all products of our, like, I definitely didn't like Limp Bizkit or Fred Durst, but there was something about like the simplicity of red backwards ball cap and a white t-shirt that I was like, yeah, that's pretty, I could do that every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Dan, you said that you gave basically a rundown of my style. I've started experimenting with some new styles.
Okay.
And
no more J. Crew, no more Banana Republic. Hello, Expressmen.
Hello, TJ Maxx. I will be going to Las Vegas this weekend. And when we go to Las Vegas for work, we dress up because we go out to these really nice dinners. And the last 3 years, I've been dabbling. I've basically just been like doing this soft launch on basically a new style that will be what I hope is my new style. I wear blouses, Dan. Not fully a woman's blouse, but print, usually with some flowers on it, very thin material, like a very thin button up, almost like a silk, but not so shiny, very matte, but the flowers have just gotten gradually more aggressive. Like before it was just like a print that could have been anything. Okay. Then I started wearing this green one that was like green and it was like clear there was plants on it. And then the one that I'm wearing this year is, it's blue and pink flowers, like tiny blue and pink flowers all over
Hell
it.
Yeah.
And this thing is like, it very easily could have been picked up in the women's section.
Right.
But when I go to the store, when I go to any store and I look at their button-ups, I hate them. I hate every dude's button-up there is. I think that they suck. I think that the type of person that I would expect to see them in them, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
It's just like a dude at the club, and I don't want that. And so like I'm like trying to escape that. And so I found these very David Bowie-esque blouses essentially where I'm like, this is my thing now. This is who I will be. And they look great with a suit, by the way.
Yeah, I'll bet. I have a bunch of floral patterned button shirts. I don't know if they're... I'm curious to see yours to see if we're in roughly the same ballpark. I don't... Vegas might be a good setting for them because I have like I've only really been able to wear these floral pattern button down shirts in like summertime with vacation vibes because I feel like if I'm laughed at, I can be like, no, that's part of it. I don't really mean it. I'm doing this because it's vacation time. I have a couple other very nice long sleeve button down floral shirts that just sit in my closet because I don't have work trips to Vegas.
Yeah. And for anyone listening at home, these are not
Emmys.
Daniel and I are not talking about cabana shirts. We're not talking about True Romance, Christian Slater, red with giant birds of paradise on it. Like these are classy.
Yeah.
Classy, flowery shirts.
I've accumulated so many, because I just like floral patterns in general. I've accumulated so many nice floral patterned ties because that's another way that a tube like me could zhuzh up his appearance. And I just never wear them because I never have any cause to wear ties or shirts with buttons for that matter.
I agree with you. I have, in fact, I surprised myself when I found a tie in my closet where I was like, oh, this thing rules. Why did I wear this once to a wedding and that was it? And it is a very flowery tie. And I don't know. I've started to dress more like a woman. And I really like the result. I think I look really nice.
Well, that's very exciting. I mean, this all started because I was thinking about glasses and I specifically bring up how no one in my life has noticed the glasses because I've given my family every opportunity and they didn't say anything about them. And they're like, a somewhat drastic departure from the glasses that I've been wearing for the last lifetime. But when I got them, that was like part of it was I want something a little bit different. I want something that's going to impact my look a bit. And like the salesman at the glasses store, like to his credit, was very clear. It was like, women have jewelry, they have makeup, they have all these things they could do. Guys, I mean, this is what you have. And it's your face. It's what you're presenting to the world. So you should put some time into it, and you should like do something with it. If you want your glasses to just sort of like disappear and be as inobtrusive as possible, then we certainly have those. But you know, this is going to be your face for the next couple of years. So what do you want? What kind of statement could you make, or what kind of thing could you be saying with this? And it's fun. I like it.
Yeah,
and
I think it's. I'm a little
it's
jealous.
Why I asked about
honestly,
necklaces and other things, because it's just like, yeah, this is. I can go for a slightly more professorial look, or you know, when I don't have the rest of my dress up going, I could go for a look that is like an owl who came back from the gym, and that's that's fine too.
My brother has had historically some bad takes on fashion. He was the one who, when he was early in his life, was thinking he was going to get a tattoo, was like, I need to get something that will last for a lifetime and I'll love it forever. So I'm thinking the Blues Traveler cat.
Correct.
That guy. He came back from a cross. So there's huts all over Colorado, these like ski huts where you like, in the winter, you ski up to them. It's untracked snow. Like there's lots of great skiing up there, but you got to like skin up there, which means you put skins on the bottom of your telemark skis to go uphill. And then he came back from one of these hut trips with a pierced ear and a piece of turquoise in it.
I would love to remind our listeners that at the start of this episode, Soren said, "Where I'm from is weird because we love Jesus Christ." Because we don't have any snow huts that we have to skin our way up to.
Could you imagine?
Then ruin our bodies, which are temples.
Could you imagine me with a snowboard on my back and snowshoes on and just like a cross dangling, like hitting me in the chest as I'm trying to go up there? It's cold, like the metal's cold against me. It's just, we live different lives, and that's got to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he came back with a piece of turquoise.
If this podcast could be about anything, it's about healing the divide between New Jersey and Colorado.
and the continental divide.
Yeah.
Really. It's so drastic. It's insane. I mean, we'd go there. Obviously, I'd go there every summer into Ocean City. And every time that I would get there, to your credit, I would feel way more plugged into society when I was there. I was like, this is the big leagues. I'm going out on the boardwalk. I got to have something that looks good. I'm thinking bucket hat this year. Like, I was like, I would think about this upcoming trip to Ocean City, New Jersey, a dry town, and be like, man, it doesn't get any higher than this. This is like big time.
Who will I be this summer?
Yeah. Oh, it could be hot. Pants going to be too much. I'm going to go cargo shorts. It's cargo shorts all the way. So yeah, he came back with a piece of turquoise in his ear, and we were all like, the whole family, nobody was mad, but everyone was like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? And I guess everyone on the trip had pierced their ear on this trip. Wow. He kept it for, I think, probably 2 weeks and didn't get infected or anything, but he realized pretty quick, being back in society, oh, this is no good.
Yeah.
So the idea of piercings has never really appealed to me. For my own face. I think everyone can do what they like, but like for me, I was like, I don't want to show off that way. That's not my shortcut to interesting.
Yeah. I completely agree there. Again, no judgments for anyone who does it, but it hasn't been for me. Tattoos have long been a thing that I'm sure I've mentioned on this podcast that I've wanted, but I just haven't found the right thing to get in the right place. But that also would not be, I don't think, a face or neck situation.
Oh, but that would be your very first tattoo. You just get a scorpion on your neck.
Just something really bold.
Yeah, you jump in head first. What does everybody think? Be honest.
Oh, are you a Scorpio? Nah, Capricorn.
Yeah, but I like.
Do you
scorpions.
like scorpions? Not really. It's scary though, right?
Never seen one in person. Imagine they're pretty spooky. They're a bug. I want to say bug. yeah, a tattoo is something that has obviously appealed to me too, because it is against a shortcut to cool. Like you see somebody with tattoos and you're like, oh, wow. Oh, you sat through that. You sat through some pain to get that. But I just can't, I would never pull the trigger on it. I couldn't do it.
I don't think so either. And I don't want a lot of them is the thing. And everyone says once you get one, you want to get more and more of them. And I believe them and don't want that to be true for me.
I saw a guy at the gym the other day who had the full sleeves, like fully black, which I don't understand. I don't understand why you at some point say, don't give me a tattoo, just make me a different color. That seems strange to me. But as I was looking at him, I was also thinking, I wonder if today they invented a tattoo that didn't hurt at all. Like you could just get whatever you wanted printed on you. There's no like these sessions you have to sit through where it's like first you do the outline, then the next session is the color, and it takes months or whatever, and it's painful, and it's a process and an adventure. You could just go in today and you could get like a full arm of like brilliant colors and a big tattoo, and it wouldn't hurt at all. I feel like tattoo people would revolt. I feel like they'd be so angry.
Yeah. There's like I maybe our society will be okay with that at some point. I feel like we're seeing people balk at the idea. Like you can make lab grown, cruelty free diamonds, and people who don't even really have a dog in the fight are still like, yeah, but I think there should be some cruelty. I think there's she got, not me, I'm saying the straw man that I'm inventing, but like there's got to be a reason that entirely lab grown meat and lab grown diamonds haven't just completely taken over the world, because like we're close to lab grown meat. And I'm not talking about Impossible Burgers. I'm talking about like what would pass a DNA test of being meat that is grown in a lab. But there are still so many people who are like, don't make me say it, but I do think I need an animal to actually die for this. I didn't know I felt that way, but yeah, I really do. I think you need to cut down a forest. And do you need me to say it? Ruin the Amazon to make more room for cows and kill the cows and I can eat the cows.
It is, yeah. When people find out, like, we did this with wedding ring shopping for a long time. I was like telling people the ring that I got for my wife, and they're like, where did the stone come from? And I'm like, oh, it's an heirloom stone. Like it's been around for a long time. It's been passed around. And they're like, oh, very exciting. Like the stone has a story. If you don't say that, if you say, no, it was just, they made it in a lab. People are like, oh, it's not a real one then. It's not a real diamond. You mean that somebody didn't mine that and then get whipped to want to mine it, and then it ended up on a bunch of different people's fingers and they all died from the curse, and now your wife has it.
Right. There's no like burned records somewhere down the line where we're like, no one can know where this diamond came from, or else Marie Antoinette's family is going to be super pissed. Like, no, none of that.
Yeah. I do like bracelets. I like rings a lot. And I think that these are both products of because I'm jealous. You know my hands, you know my wrists. Yeah. For any connoisseurs out there, you know that I've got, you could probably, a stiff breeze could break my wrist. Yeah. Like I've got these very thin, delicate wrists, and then I've got these fingers that are monster fingers. They're long and skinny.
McDonald's French fries all the way.
From years of baseball, they've all been jammed so many times that the knuckle, it looks like a pregnant French fry. Like the middle of it is weirdly knobby. And so like if I put a ring on my finger, it's barely, I have to work real hard to squeeze it over that weird trunk of a knuckle. And then it just bobs around below that. And between the palm itself and that knuckle, there's nothing holding it in place because the finger's so skinny. So they just roll around on my hand, and I can't like run with a ring on because it's so annoying.
I know that if I ever, because I'm also intrigued by rings, but I know if I ever get one that there is no money should be spent on it because I will lose and smudge and destroy it. I just know intuitively, no matter how meaningful the ring is. If I played a person who was married with children in a cracked series called Internet Content that we did, which maybe you could find on YouTube or maybe not. That's the beauty of what I spent my 20s doing, is it might all disappear. But I had a ring for the costume that the character wore, and you couldn't stop me from banging it on things to make the sound of it and just like break up the monotony of the day by like bing, 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 bonk, 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 just making that noise, taking it off and spinning it and seeing how much it could spin. I think that was something that you did with your real life wedding ring as well.
I use it all the time under
I know
chairs
that
and stuff. That way.
Yeah, I would just come home from my day with a ring that was just like beat to shit with gum stuck to it. It was like, oh yeah, I had gum and I put it in my pocket, and then I put the ring in the pocket, and then I stuck there.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you spin a wedding ring, there's some elemental force that like you don't expect, which is it doesn't spin like a quarter. A quarter spins for what you would think is like a natural amount of time. For whatever reason, a hollow piece of metal spins forever. Like you could just start spinning it and walk away and come back later having forgotten about it, and it will still be spinning. They spin forever, and it's so fun to just spin them. But then also, throughout my day, I get so much skunk underneath my ring. Yeah. Just by like living my life, like digging my hands in dirt, I guess. But like it gets so gross, and I'm also banging it on shit because that's fun too. Handrails, any stairs, any set of stairs, it's a good opportunity for me to start making some noise.
You got to see what sound different things make. I'm not being crazy here.
No, you want to know what rings?
Yeah.
Rings are not for me. I do have a wedding ring. It is designed much like the glasses you described, to be innocuous, to be invisible.
You all know me. I have a dog. I love my dog, Jackson. I have had him since he was 6 months old, and in 1 month, he will be 12 years old. Time flies when your home is full of love, as mine is with Jackson. Gosh, he's a great dog, and I would do anything for him. My pet Jackson is great and special, but so is yours. Your pet is one of a kind, and so is their journey. While every playful moment is a memory in the making, sometimes our cats and dogs are a little too good at getting into trouble. Jackson once rolled around in a dead Harper seal. That's why you should check out ASPCA Pet Health Insurance. Or maybe you don't have a pet yet. Maybe you're thinking of getting one soon. That means you need to think about getting the necessities like food, toys, a bed. Something you may not be thinking about, though, is pet insurance. That's why you should check out ASPCA Pet Health Insurance. Imagine this, picture this, you're at the vet's office again. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier for pet parents like you to help your pet get the care they may need. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program has been around for over 18 years, and they've helped more than 600,000 pets during that time. They allow you to customize your plan, helping ensure that your pet's plan is as unique as they are. Because vet bills can really add up, especially when you're least expecting it. It's simple. Use their app to submit a claim and you'll receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/question. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/question. Again, that is aspcapetinsurance.com/question. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
Well, Daniel, I have a quick question for you.
Do you?
I think so. What if Obama? What's a movie that you think is people only say that they like a movie that is not actually as good as everyone seems to believe it is? Like a movie that everyone saw and everyone was like, yes. And you saw and you were like, hold the fucking phone. What? Why are we all pumped about this? And if you want, I can go first.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Donnie Darko was one of those for me, where when Donnie Darko came out, everyone was losing their shit over this movie. And I felt like an idiot because I was like, but I don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on. at any given point in this movie. There's some cool elements to it. There's some cool visual stuff. The rabbit is cool. The idea of time travel, but how it all fits together is a jumbled mess of nonsense.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. I think it's a bad movie. And when I would try to bring this up gently, I was rebuffed every single time. Do you have an opinion on Donnie Darko?
I saw it so long ago, and I think like I was young enough that something appearing to be deep was enough for me to agree that it was deep. I don't think I was, but I wasn't so young that I was going to defend or explain it to anyone. I was at the exact comfortable age where I watched a movie that seemed like it was saying a lot and I didn't understand it. And that was enough for me to be like, must be pretty smart. Like I wasn't investigating anything back then. The thing that made it cool to me when I was young beyond that were two things. One is that it definitely felt unlike movies that I had been watching. It definitely was a different kind of thing. Yeah. Whether or not it was that made it good for a young person who is starting to develop slightly more sophisticated taste or just like develop their own taste, and to see anything that doesn't follow very traditional Hollywood conventions of storytelling and how movies go, just like something that is a little bit more challenging, that enough is good for me. That doesn't mean that Donnie Darko was good. If it wasn't that movie, it would have been another one that would have done that for me, and I think of a lot of other people. But
yeah, I think like tonally, it does have like a great tone to it. I can't argue that. But like story wise, there's not. I like it was also at a point in history when the internet wasn't really good at having quick takes or like trying to explain. Like they're like, here's what the tongue means in True Detective. Like
right.
You didn't have any of that. You occasionally had these message boards where somebody would be like, here's what I think is going on in Mulholland Drive or something like that. And so I was like searching when I was feeling like a crazy person. I would go online and I would find like these places where it was just this ugly board where people would talk about these types of things. And somebody would be like, well, what people fail to realize about Donnie Darko is that he's a superhero. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's a superhero.
I'm glad that I wasn't so invested in it that I felt the need to understand it more than a surface level, because I think I definitely remember like another one of my big takeaways at the time was movie came out in 2001. I probably saw it in 2002 or 2003. So this is 16 or 17-year-old Daniel is developing massive crush on Jenna Malone in that movie. That was my other takeaway and that was, all it took. A quirky brunette girl in a movie for me to be like, that was a good film. We should see more films. They don't make movies like, we're going to see another movie like this that has this person in it.
Doing the same exact thing. Yeah. And for all...
Look, she kisses someone weird in it. That's a good movie. I like that.
For all the shitting of Donnie Darko that I'm currently doing, I went as Donnie Darko for Halloween that very year.
Really?
That's always been like my attitude is like, if I sense that I'm not part of the crowd and like my opinions aren't right, I'm like, well, then I'm wrong as a human. And whatever the group is doing, that's what I will do. And so I've got like a skeleton costume and then a sweatshirt that I wore over it.
Okay. I was trying to think what he looks like, how that is like
yes,
sellable as a costume.
It was an era when I was so insufferable. I would only go as characters who in their movie Halloween happens and they go as something. Mm-hmm. So I did this is a repurposed one. I had gone the year before as a Cobra Kai skeleton.
Right.
And then I did a Donnie Darko and like continued this trend of like whatever somebody wore in Hocus Pocus or whatever, that's what I was going to be.
I think that's a really good bit. As someone who has always struggled with Halloween my entire life, I think that's such a funny, easy to do recurring thing that it's like, no, I'm not quite a skeleton. I'm Johnny from Karate Kid as a skeleton, or Ralph Macchio from Karate Kid as a skeleton, as a shower, whatever
he was
anyone
a shower.
Dressed up as. It's like, that's, you're going to annoy some people who are like, you should have just been a skeleton.
Right.
You don't need to somehow be more clever than anyone here who is dressed as a skeleton. But it works for me because I'm also kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, everyone would be like, yeah, you're a skeleton. And I'm like, actually, no, I'm a character from a movie. Let me put it on real quick. Hold on, let me get the DVD because this is when we used to do that.
It's a common misconception. I am worse than being a skeleton. I know there's got to be a movie for me that fits this criteria that is older and more universally beloved, but the only thing that's coming to my mind at the moment is Dune, the Denis Villeneuve, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya Dune Part 1 movie that I really wanted to like it. It's got a million actors that I like, and I am on record as being a fan of movies that cost a lot of money and are like bold and ambitious in scope and scale. And tick tick tick. That's all you're hitting all the boxes for this. But I watched that movie that everyone like near universal praise for that movie, and trailers looked great, and I was like, this is so slow and so broody. And I feel like an idiot when I have this complaint about movies, but no one is having any fun in it.
Yeah.
Except sometimes Jason Momoa, who, if you can count on him for one fucking thing, that guy is going to have fun everywhere he goes. I love my delightful party mountain, and I want him in more things doing that exact thing. But he's not even in most of the movie. A lot of the movie is just like very sad, kind of monotone. Monotone in terms of voice, and like mono palette as well. It's just a gray blue world where everyone is feeling the severity and the importance of what they're doing. And I understand that it's setting up for this movie that, based on trailers, looks fucking awesome, and I'm gonna see it. But I have a feeling, as I'm seeing like early reviews are coming in for Dune 2 as of this recording, and people are talking about it as like a visual masterpiece, and I'm gonna go in there with an open mind and an open heart, but like, man, I'm not gonna like this thing. Yeah. They look even more serious this time around.
I'm with you on like movies or TV shows where everybody is aware of how like the severity of the situation.
Yeah.
There's not like one person there who's like, can we all just chill out for a second?
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize like how much I need until I saw Ahsoka Tano?
Yeah, Ahsoka. Yeah.
Ahsoka. When I watched Ahsoka, I was like, I hate this. Everybody is so serious.
That's it's very true and very difficult with that show because I wanted to like it because obviously we are friends with Rosario Dawson.
Best
famously,
friends.
We're very good friends with her. And that's another show where it's like, hey, they're like using practical locations and stuff. And I like that. And they're getting great actors. As someone in this industry, I get excited when shows appear to have budgets and they get to tell stories and make exciting, original-ish things. And I watched that and was like, man, we lived through a pandemic and we were still making jokes. I know you're Jedi and you're important, but like you can have fun a little bit.
Yeah. It was like them flying from place to place and they're all just in a ship together being serious. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Either fight somebody or get the fuck out of here. I have a hard time with that as well. I have not seen Dune. Well, the current version of Dune. I saw the original. That was another one where I saw it very young and thought, what is this?
Yeah.
What is anybody getting out of this?
I felt that way with Labyrinth, which just came at the wrong time. Like, I don't know if that's a universally beloved movie or if that's a cult classic, but if you have heard nothing but great things from people who remember that movie from childhood, and then you watch it alone in your apartment at 26 years old, it's like, this is fucking goofy and slow and no one's having fun, and Jason Momoa wasn't even invented yet, so I can't even count on him to pop up somewhere.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of why it was seminal for me, and I guess it was just the right age in my childhood when like Dark Crystal and stuff came out, where you're just like, what are these things? And you're so excited about just seeing these creatures all over the place that it doesn't. The rest of it doesn't really matter, and that everything's sort of like a little bit dangerous, but maybe your friend. Like that was a key point for me when I was young. Of like, I really liked characters that I didn't know if I could trust them or not.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about my childhood.
Can I pause our question about movies with another quick question? Because you mentioned specifically the tongue on the floor in True Detective.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is a reference to True Detective Night Country, which just as of this recording wrapped up its 6-episode season on Sunday. Why do I talk like this sometimes? Why am I like this?
Directed by
I don't understand why I'm like this.
Nominated for a couple of different WGA awards.
Who is listening to this podcast?
Of course, originally written by Nick Pizzolatto, but he didn't have anything to do with this particular.
If I just was like, oh, you're talking about True Detective season 4. There's no one in our audience who is like, but when in time does this recording take place?
What's your question about True Detective?
Sucked, right?
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I'm still thinking about it makes me think that there are some redeeming elements to it.
Oh,
what I didn't like was that this was not a detective story. It was a ghost story.
Yeah.
It was like the ghosts. Every big lead they got is because ghosts were like, look over here.
Yeah.
Come here. Look at this over here. And that I was not, I hated. I hated that the setup felt really good, and I was like very nervous because I was nervous on how they're going to pay it off. With the very first scene, if you remember, is a guy hunting caribou, and all the caribou run off of a cliff. Like, I was like, yes, what is this? And then a polar bear appears with only one eye, and I'm like, fuck yeah!
That polar bear appears so many times throughout the show. The caribou do not return.
Nope.
Largely forgotten about, and with good reason, because they never had a purpose to begin with.
The polar bear is a metaphor too. Like the polar bear has
weird
no purpose.
Ambiance. Yeah.
The polar bear has no bearing on the rest of the show other than like a stuffed polar bear.
Yeah. I think there's just so everyone knows, spoilers for a show, but in our defense, it did air a couple days ago as of this recording, 2024, February 21st. Year of our Lord Jesus Christ. I did like who the killers turned out to be. I thought that was a fun reveal, and I actually thought if you stripped out the ghosts from the story and didn't try to play with the idea that maybe there's magic or maybe it's hallucinations or maybe blah 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 blah, and just did like a boilerplate, here is a very tough case to solve, and it seems like it's impossible to solve it. It seems like no one could have done this. And then by the end of the season, you get a satisfying reveal of who did it. I think on that score, the show was successful. Set up the impossible murder, reveal how it's possible. Great. You did that for me. There's so much nonsense tonal bullshit on all sides of it that didn't contribute to it, I think, in a meaningful way. And also, to your point, even though the mystery gets solved, it doesn't get solved via detective work.
No, it's not a detective story.
No.
The best detective work she does is figure out how to turn the TV off in the Solal station.
Yeah. And the little junior detective, little PD Pryor, he does detective work. He's like, hey, I ran some leads down to dig into this like long-standing systemic corruption that has involved this laboratory and the local mine and the police department itself. And they're like, yeah, that's great, kid. A ghost threw an orange down this hole, so we're gonna follow the orange until we find the killer.
Yeah, a ghost told us where the bodies would be out on the ice. Yeah, there are elements, and then like also the symbol that gets used throughout it was deeply underwhelming. Like here's what I think was successful. The first season of True Detective did have some elements of the potential supernatural, but it was always very grounded. It was like, there's this cult maybe, and the cult is doing some pretty fucked up shit. They're killing people and putting antlers on them and stuff like that. And we got to figure out in this weird backcountry South where this cult is, and maybe some of the stuff that they're trying to summon is working. Like there's that sort of like element.
And you needed one of the detectives. You needed Matthew McConaughey's character, Russ Cole, to have some kind of interest in the supernatural or the mysticism. Not so he could like literally tap into magic or anything like that, but because this was a case that required someone who could think in terms of impossible explanations, because that was the only thing that could like help lead them to the actual truth of what was going on in that story.
Yeah. And like I guess my biggest gripe of all is that in a detective story, you don't need the detectives to like fix their own emotional trauma by the end. You don't need the detectives to end up better off. You need detectives who by the end have fucked themselves up so badly because they care about the case so much. That's what I want. I want a detective who like, this took a piece of them. And that's great. Like that's like the hard-boiled detective to a T. That's every Raymond Chandler story. Like by the end, like he hates humanity a little bit more by the end because of what he solved.
Right, especially because when we meet the two detectives in this show, they're so like beaten down from past cases. Another bad case isn't going to solve that. It's just going to it's like, oh boy, when am I going to get a good one?
Yeah. But by the end, they're feeling much better about life. And like, Jodie Foster is like very whimsical about like, we can't solve everything. Some stuff we just can never know. Like we'll wink at the camera. And it's like, no, give me the tongue. What were you looking at under the table when you saw that like shiny filmy shit on the ground and then you got interrupted? What happened?
Oh, that's another thing. Why, who, I can't, why tongue? Who tongue? Soren?
Yes, that's
where tongue?
But the whole next day, I'm just like, what was the tongue? Why are we dealing with the tongue?
I think, unless your show is actually going to like make very explicit ghosts are real in this universe and they could interact with tangible things, unless that's like woven into the DNA and then you also have some Ghostbusters in that world.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then you need to explain the things that you set up in your pilot as impossible, because I love detective stories and I love heist stories. I know I've said make an impossible thing possible, but that's at their core, that's what these things are. You're going to set up a episode 1. Here's your crime scene. It's a bunch of there's a tongue on the floor of this research facility, and there's no footage of what happened, and there's a bunch of dead, naked scientists in the Alaskan wilderness, and there's a weird symbol. Great. You can do whatever meandering bullshit you want throughout the season. Pay off all those things.
Yeah.
By the end of it, that's what you have to do. If step 1 is I'm gonna pitch you a mystery that seems like it couldn't have happened. Step 7 is here's how it happened.
Yeah.
And their step 7 was here's how the guys got their clothes off. Here's how they ended up on the ice. And the tongue. Ghosts. Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. That just that one bit. The ghost didn't do anything else except tell us where the bodies were. Yeah. And okay, but then why would the ghost want to put the tongue there? Because isn't that gross? And ghosts are icky, right? Aren't they so spooky?
Well, and I mean, not to, I guess we're spoiling an awful lot, but the guys die out on the ice. It's sort of satisfying, but part of it's not. They left the clothes out so the guys could come back and get them, but they sent the men out onto the ice, and if she wanted to claim them, she could. The ghost wanted to claim them, and the ghost claimed them. So really, Ghost did the murder, too.
Right.
And so I'm like, I don't like this. It was not my favorite. I gotta say, although I did watch it in a cabin up in the woods while there was a blizzard happening, and I was in this little A-frame cabin, and the roof sounded like it was going to blow off of it, and I was like, yes, this is exactly where I should be watching people stroll around in an ice cave.
I'm in rare territory now that might be more familiar to you. It's a wonderful consequence of being in a committed and wonderful, amazing relationship. So we don't always like the same shows, but we spend every night watching something together. So if there's things that I like that she doesn't, I have to carve out little time to myself to watch those things. And True Detective is such a show. And now that I invested 6 fucking hours into this show that was bad, it's the consequences are so much greater for me than if I was living alone and just like consuming a whole bunch of content all the time like I used to. Now it's like, all right, what's gonna be the thing that occupies an hour a week that is just for me? What's gonna take that coveted spot? And I blew it on this stupid ghost show.
I did too. It means a lot to me because I've got children and everything that like I have a very limited amount of time that is just mine. And like it's the providence of a night where my children go down to bed early enough and my wife is not interested in watching TV, where I get to watch something on my own is so like rare that it's like, now's my time. And I was like, True Detective. Yes. Yeah. I want this again.
There's no way that'll let me down.
It was a bummer. I think everybody in it is great though.
I don't know if I think Jodie Foster is a good actor.
Oh,
and
really?
I don't know if I'm going to get anyone. I think she's rightfully beloved. I think she like every interview I read with her, and when I hear about her advocating for younger actors throughout her career, I think this is like a really cool woman, just like a really inspiring person who became famous at a very young age and came out the other side relatively unscathed, and is like a mentor to younger actresses, whether it's Kristen Stewart or Natalie Portman, 2 actors who sang her praises from working with her when they were both younger. First episode of this season, I was like, let's go back in my mind and think of when she was really great in a movie. Was it Silence of the Lambs and Nothing?
No, I gotta look if there was anything else in between there because I'm like, sure. Taxi Driver was long before that.
Nell was like a big movie that she did. Nell. That was like an Oscar-y movie. I haven't revisited it in a while. I don't know if it's actually good.
She makes up a language in Nell.
Uh-huh. Like all the best actors.
That's the hallmark of a good actor.
That's what Jean Dujardin did, right?
Yeah. Can you cry on cue and can you make up your own language for a movie? Nell. Yeah, Nell. Nell's the only thing I could actually put my finger on. I don't, God, but I'm also notoriously bad at this. Let me just look it up real quick. Did you already do this?
I like her in Contact. I like Contact, and I think she's really good in that. Yeah. I love the movie Maverick. I don't know. I might just like her and think she's very charming, but I don't know. It's one of the hardest questions that I'm faced with all the time. Is this person a good actor?
What did you think of her partner in True Detective?
I thought she was good. I thought she was really, really good and popped on screen a lot. And I thought it was maybe a little bit underwritten for her to just be angry all the time. But she had new shades to being angry that worked for me. Pete Pryor, I thought, whoever that actor is, I thought he did a good job. I, as a rule, love John Hawkes in absolutely everything.
Yeah. He's never anybody other than fucking his Valentine character for me. I mean, is that his name, Valentine?
I think it's Teardrop.
Teardrop. Okay.
Is that Winter's Bone?
Oh no, I'm talking about Martin star. No, what's it? No, wait, hold on.
What?
In Deadwood.
Oh, Saul.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Saul Star.
Saul Star.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you see Winter's Bone?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I should revisit Winter's Bone as well.
He's great in that. He's great in everything.
Yes. I agree with you. I think that she was like they're just giving these characters some like weird things that they also have to contend with. Where I'm like, we don't need all that. Like Jodie Foster sleeping with everybody in town. I'm like, this is not paying off. It's just I get nothing from this. And this woman, her relationship with her mom. Maybe this is I'm on thin ice here, Dan, because I don't know if this is just like because I'm a white dude that this means so little to me. But like all the stuff where we're like getting that mystery of her mom solved, I was like, don't care. Get back to the dead scientists, please.
I felt really bad about the wife of Deputy Pryor, who only exists on this show. The wife and mother of his child only exists on this show to nag and be a pain. And that's not me. This isn't like I'm saying the right things here. This isn't me just like the way that people used to react to Skylar White on Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And they just hated her existence because they hated the idea of a woman on a show who was not a fan of murder and drugs. This is like the writing of the character in True Detective Season 4 is only on screen to ever yell at her husband. The husband who I think we're mostly supposed to like because he is given actual characterization and he does good detective work and he's nice to Jodie Foster's daughter and he is kind of sweet sometimes to his screw up of a father. And then he gets home and it's nagging wife and shrieking baby.
Yeah.
And she is only mad at him for doing police work, which is the thing we want him to do in the show about detectives. So we also have to hate her by design. We're not allowed to like her.
I didn't ever think about it that way, but like, yeah, the woman on a show who is there to keep the main character from doing the thing we all want them to do. It's such an unfortunate position to be in. Like, poor fucking Skylar. Poor this woman who, she's... Every time he comes home and he like tries to sneak into bed and like their relationship is just getting torn further and further apart. You're like, fucking end it. If she doesn't want you to be a cop, like you're solving the most important case this town has ever seen.
Yeah.
She has to understand that, right?
Nope. That's not her function. Her function is to make the viewers at home who only have 1 hour of papa time a week to watch their stories be like, I guess I'll look at my crossword while she's on screen because this isn't going to advance the plot. It's just going to be another scene that accomplishes wife mad at sweet husband.
There's a weird moment I think it's the very first episode where we first meet her. I don't know if you remember the circumstances. He comes home, he plays with his son some, and then his wife comes into the room. He and his wife walk from the bedroom he's playing with his son in. His son is like a 1 or 2 or something like that. No, he's older. He's like 2 or 3, I think, because he's talking. They walk into the other room, and then his wife tries to give him a hand job. The child is right there. And so I do
not remember this.
It's so clearly written by somebody who does not have kids. They're just like, yeah. And then it's like you having your dog in the room. What's the big deal?
Well, that about wraps up our show, huh?
Yeah, that wraps it up. You can follow Daniel or me on Blue Sky. I don't think Daniel's gone back to X yet. Just search our names there, I guess. You can also find Quick Question still on X at QQ_Soren and Dan. I don't think that Quick Question is currently on Blue Sky. Email us at QQ with Soren and Daniel at gmail.com to be like, no, the story was good. The tongue means something. And we will never read that. You can find us on Instagram at QQ_with_Soren_and_Daniel. We have a sound engineer, producer, editor, videographer, the guy who basically keeps the show running and is the glue, Gabe Harder. You will never find him. No. The theme song is by Me Rex. You can find their music anywhere you listen to your music. unless it's a CD and you don't own the CD. I think that would be pretty tough. But streaming-wise, go to Spotify or whatever. Or you can go to merex.bandcamp.com to find their new album. And lastly, you can find video of these podcasts, not this one, but others just like it, on YouTube at youtube.com/@QQpodcast. That's it.
That's it. Here's how good Gabe is at his job. I'm pretty sure he said he wouldn't be able to make this recording and would send someone else. And then when the recording started and he was here, I didn't question it at all. I was like, yeah, he figured out whatever he had to do to bend reality to make all this work out.
Solved another problem.
He did it.
Quietly solved another problem. All right, bye.
I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all go? Why do we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Billy, Daniel O'Brien. Two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.